YouTube, my name is KushiKush, and this is Casual Zombie Free-to-Play Deck. This is just a zombie structure deck. I took 3 copies, I combined it with some solo play cards that you can get for free, such as Raigeki. I crafted some cards, such as Forbidden Chalice, and I'm also including the Shiranui structure deck. So if you're going to be seeing some super rares that you may not own, that's okay. You can get them from solo play. You just have to play a little bit, and then you get a lot of these cards for free. I think I had to craft Shiranui Squire though. So the only craftables in this build are the rares and normals. But let's just go card for card. I'll be talking about the deck. I'll be showing replays later in the video, and I'll just tell you guys how it goes. The first card in the deck is Alghoul. This comes in the zombie structure deck. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a zombie, or if you control zombie world, which we don't in this build, as you may notice, you can special summon a zombie instead of adding it. I think it's really cool. It's very, very powerful when you combine it with very powerful zombies that are level 5 and higher. There are some, we don't run them in this build because they're too expensive, but there are some, I just like it for the fact that it can search a zombie, which is very useful because we actually have quite a few searches, but I'll get into that more later. Besides that, we run 1 Plaguespreader Zombie. This card's very old. It was an OG staple back in the Synchro days, like 2008, 2010. Nowadays, I think it's too slow. I'm running it in this build just because it does give us a play. Not the best play, it's not the most valuable one, but it does give us a play, and we want it in our deck just to have it there, mainly to go into Synchro 6s when we don't have any other options, or do Synchro plays. Next card, Shiranui Spectralsword. This is probably one of the most important tuners in the entire deck. It has multiple searches through Squire. It can also be searched with Solitaire if you want to do stuff like that. If anything, you should cut this card up to 2 and take out Plaguespreader. I'm including both the cards just to give you options. I think I like it at 1, but if you think that you need more copies, take out Plaguespreader, put in another Shiranui Spectralsword. This card, when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it along with another zombie that's a non-tuner, and you can synchro using your graveyard. Very, very cool. I do it in a couple of the replays. I make synchro 6s. I can even make a synchro 8 or 10 if I want to. It's just an incredibly valuable card to have in your graveyard because you have a free synchro summon in your graveyard that's just sitting there. And besides that, we have Mad Mauler. This is what I would like to call a better Plaguespreader because it's essentially Plaguespreader when it's in the graveyard, so it allows you to go into the synchros that say Plaguespreader only. Very weird niche, but it does come up. This guy is, if you control level 6 or higher, you just reduce its level by 2 and then special summon this dude. Very, very cool. I like having him in the deck. I like him a lot more than Plaguespreader. I keep bringing up Plaguespreader because, you know, Plaguespreader used to be the OG tuner, but not anymore. There's better ones. Better one is Uni-Zombie. Comes in the zombie structure deck. You don't need to craft this. It has the first effect where you can like discard a card and then change a level. That effect sucks. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about the second effect where it's you can target a card, increase its level, and send a zombie from your deck to the graveyard. Incredibly powerful, especially since zombies utilize the graveyard a lot. So sending a monster to the graveyard, such as Spectralsword, Mad Mauler, or some other ones further in the deck list, I'll show you as we get there. It's just an incredibly valuable resource. It's probably the best monster in the deck. That's why we have Shiranui Solitaire at 3, just so we can tribute itself and get into Uni-Zombie. Uni-Zombie is very important. Besides that, Ash Blossom comes in the bundle deal. You use this card just to negate your opponent. Also, it's a zombie tuner. It has synergy with the deck. Kind of strange. Besides that, we're trying out this card. Trying it out, meaning you don't need to run this card. I put it in the deck because I wanted to test it. I don't think I ever drew it once. I'm leaving it in the deck because I still want to test it. But essentially, it's you can just synchro using monsters in your hand, but all the materials are banished. What you were hoping to do is you synchro for 7 using Shiranui Squire, Solitaire, or even Spiritmaster. And then when these Shiranuis are banished, you get effects. In theory, it's good. I don't know how good it is in practicality. I haven't been able to use it, so I'm leaving it in here, but if anything, take it out, put in another Spectralsword. It's all up to you. Next up, we have Shiranui Spectralsword Shade. This is a level 3 zombie tuner. As the effect where you contribute it and then target your 2 banished zombies, including 1 Shiranui, special summon them. This I feel like is very good late mid game, if you see it, if the game goes on long enough, because then you just get 2 cards for the price of 1. Honestly, it's not the best. I'm running it just to test it, same with Tatsunecro. Honestly, the best tuners in the entire deck are Uni-Zombie, Mad Mauler, you only need 1 copy, Spectralsword, you can bump it up 2 or 3, it's just so important. Alghoul, you can even bump up to 2 if you really, really like that search. But besides that, we're just running it because it is an option. I like having options in the deck, and it's not the best option, but it is an option. Next up, we have Shiranui Spiritmaster. When this guy is normal summon, we can special summon a Shiranui from our hand or graveyard, and then when he's banished, you can destroy a face-up card. He's kind of cool. Honestly, you only really need one. We're running two because he has very good synergy with Shiranui Style Slash. The trap card allows you to pop 3 cards instead of just 2. It's a lot of removal. But besides that, I kind of like him. I kind of like him at 1, but I'm leaving him at 2 just because if we do use up one copy, I want to have another one in the deck. Next up, Shiranui Solitaire, a very important monster. It's a starter monster. It's a monster that you summon on your turn 1, and it gets you into Uni-Zombie, which is the most important monster in the deck. This guy also has an effect that when he's banished, you can special summon a banished Shiranui monster. It does come up a lot because Spectralsword is usually banished when you use it for synchroing using your graveyard. So yeah, this guy is very, very good in the deck. Next up is Shiranui Squire. The main reason I like this card is because when it's normal summon, you can special summon a Spectralsword or a Spectralsword Shade from your deck, allowing you to go into Synchro 6 and Synchro 7. And a Synchro 6 is very valuable because now you can make this dragon called Immortal Dragon. It's a zombie, but essentially it's Uni-Zombie. You just send a zombie from your deck to the graveyard. So this card becomes another copy of Uni. You just send another monster from your deck to the graveyard. Very powerful stuff. Besides that, this is a new tech. I crafted this. This is Scar the Vendread. When this card's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Vendread Spell Trap. I'll show you the Spell Trap right here, Vendread Charge. It just allows you to special summon a Vendread from your deck by sending a zombie from your hand or face-up field. The sending from the face-up field allows you to dodge effects. If your opponent activates Infinite Imperm or Effect Builder targeting your monster, you just send it, you dodge your effect, and you get the free special. But besides that, it's just a level 6 that you can just special summon from your deck very easy. It allows you to go into synchro plays even easier because it's a big number. Also, when it goes to the graveyard, it kind of like replaces itself with the spell. I really, really like that. I will mention though, its last effect is important, because if a monster is tributed, it'll ask you, do you want to special summon this card? Genuinely, you want to say no, mainly because if you do special summon this guy back from the graveyard using his own effect, you're only going to be able to special summon Vendread. That means you're locked out of everything until this guy dies. It's really bad. It's like a curse. It's like a scar, as you might call it. I won't call it that. But yeah, you don't want to be using the last effect unless you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to screw yourself and lose the game. I'm just letting you know, just because if something happened, you're like, why can't I summon? Why can't I summon? It's because you probably summoned this guy back from the graveyard and he says you can't summon anything except Vendread. Next card is Jack-o-Bolan. We only run one copy because it is searchable with Glow Bloom. Mainly we're running it because if we need to get something out of our hand, we can search this guy out with Glow Bloom by sending it through the graveyard with Uni-Zombie or Shiranui Squire into Immortal Dragon. We have a lot of ways, and his effect where he can special summon something from the graveyard is okay. It's cool. We're just using him as a body to like make a bigger synchro. Next up we have Kasha. I like having this in the deck. It's essentially a board clear for monsters. If we control 2 zombies, we can special summon it, shuffle all the monsters into the decks. Very cool non-targeting removal. That's like a board wipe, like a dark hole almost. Have I used it? Not really. You may take it out if you don't like it. I just like having the option there. Next up is Alghoul Mazera. This card is actually really important. I used to run it at 2 and 3 just because essentially if your zombie would be destroyed by battle or card effect, nope. Special summon this guy instead, your monster is not destroyed. Very cool because it gives you protection, and I like that a lot. So if anything, if you want to change around the monster count, I would say you could take out this little sea fish thing. You could take out this level 3. I mean, yeah, I would keep in Jack, just have it as an option, but you can definitely take out Kasha. I don't think I use Kasha in like any of the like multiple duels that I played using this deck. And I definitely bump up Alghouls, and I definitely bump up Spectralsword. But that's really all I would change in the main deck, at least for this casual list. If you're playing a more expensive list, a monster that I do want to recommend before we finish with the monsters, Doom King Balrosh. This monster is, if there's a field spell, you can special summon from the graveyard during the standby phase. And then if like a zombie activates its effect, you can negate the effect or banish a monster from the field or graveyard. Both very powerful effects, especially since a banish doesn't target. So it gets around a lot of things. And this guy works the best with this one monster that comes in a structure deck, Necroworld Banshee. She is, when she's in the graveyard, you can banish her and then you can activate a zombie world directly from your deck. Really easy to get her in your graveyard when you have like multiple ways to like search or send or whatever. And she works so well with Doom King. It's not even funny because if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can just, it's considered a zombie, so you just banish it or negate it. Very cool stuff. The only reason we're not running it in this build is because it's an UR. Yeah, it's expensive, so we're not going to be running it, but it is there if you do want to craft it. And if you do craft it and you do want to run it, you should be running it with Necrowar Banshee, along with one copy at least of Zombie World. These cards come in the structure deck, except for the King dude, except for Doom King. He doesn't come in the structure deck. Moving on to the spells, we got Raigeki. I think it's from the first mission of solo play. Just a board wipe for your opponent. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cheap. Lightning Storm comes in the bundle deal. Essentially, it's Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster combined, but the Raigeki is a little bit weaker. Also, you can't control face-ups, so it has a little bit of versatility, but at the same time, it's not going to always be live. Next up, we have Zombie Reborn. I'm testing out this card. It comes in the structure deck. Essentially, you target a zombie monster in your graveyard, banish one from your deck, special summon one from your graveyard. It's kind of interesting because if you do special summon a Shiranui and you banish one from your deck, you're going to get the banish effect as well. And I think that's the main reason we're running Shiranui Spiritmaster at 2. But if anything, you could definitely take out this card, Zombie Reborn, and you can cut down Shiranui Spiritmaster down to 1 if you really want to do something like that. Next up, we got Forbidden Chalice at 3. This can be used during your turn. So during your turn, this is a quick play spell. If your opponent tries to do something with one of their Omni Negates, you can activate this card. Kind of stops their effect, and it helps you out a little bit. It's a little bit better than a trap because it's a spell and you can use it during your turn, and you can set it and like play it as a trap during your opponent's turn. But mainly it's just there, it just negates a monster effect. It's just to not like make us lose as much, and it actually won us a couple duels in the replays. Besides that, we got Vendread Recharge. I talked about it a little bit earlier. You just send a zombie from your hand or face-up field, special summon a Vendread. Essentially, it's just special summon Scar from your deck level 6. That's all it is. But it also allows you to dodge effects, like I mentioned earlier. Like if you activate Uni-Zombie, they activate Infinite Imperm. You can send your Uni-Zombie from the field to the graveyard and dodge their Infinite Imperm. Next up, we got Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story. Excuse me. This is like a worse version of Vendread Charge. This card is amazing, but it does suck that your opponent needs to control a monster. That's the only downside. Essentially, you special summon a Shiranui from your deck or graveyard with a different name. I mean, that's an incredibly powerful effect on its own. The only problem is sometimes you want to use it turn 1, but your opponent doesn't control anything. So it's a dead card. That does suck, and it does come up, but I think it's still good enough that you should run it for turn 2 and turn 3. Besides that, we got Shiranui Style. Normally, I don't like running traps, especially a trap that's like tribute a zombie, destroy 2 cards. But it has the added bonus where it says, then banish one from your deck. So the reason the banish is so good is because let's say you banish Shiranui Squire. What do you get when you banish her? Draw a card, discard a card. Not the worst. So essentially the trap is destroy 2 cards, draw a card, discard a card. Okay. What if you banish Solitaire? Special summon a banish Shiranui. Now you get a free special summon along with the trap. And my favorite is Shiranui Spiritmaster. When he's banished, destroy a face-up card in the field. So essentially, you have a lot of options with this trap. You can draw one, discard one, you can special summon one of your banished Shiranuis, or you can destroy another card. It gives you a lot of options. That's why we're running it. I think it's amazing. The destroy 3 especially, because that's just a lot of removal. And the final card, Infinite Imperm, you get it in the bundle deal. The extra deck is Shiranui Sword Saga. We have it there just in case we do make it. I don't remember exactly how we're supposed to make this, I'm going to be quite honest, but it is there as an option. Besides that, we got Doom Kaiser, so we can special summon something from our opponent's graveyard if it's a zombie, maybe in Ash Blossom or something. We have Revived King Hazda. If our opponent has a monster that activates when it's sent to the graveyard, we can summon this, destroy it, it won't activate. One of the more better ones, Archfiend Zombie Skull. Your zombies can be destroyed by card effects. It comes up, it actually does, it's like a really good protection. And although it says you need Plaguespreader and 2 zombie monsters to make it, Shiranui Spectralsword can make it as long as you have a level 4 in your graveyard along with it. So, I mean, it's kind of clutchy. Besides that, Shiranui Samurai Saga, it's okay. I mean, it has a quick effect where you can shuffle one of your banished zombies into the deck and then change all your opponent's monsters with less attack to defense. It's okay. We mainly leave it there because we want to use it to like build up, get this guy in the graveyard, because also when he is banished, he has an effect. He can make a monster lose 500 attack. Not the best effect, but it does come up. Immortal Dragon is more important. That's why we're running 2 copies. It's just literally Foolish Burial, Uni-Zombie, whatever you want to call it, send from your deck to the graveyard. Very good effect. Also, it comes back in the graveyard if a zombie is destroyed by battle. Tengu. Tengu is not really good on his own. The reason he's in here is because when he's in a graveyard and he's special summoned in a graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. The reason that is good is because our big boss monster, Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord, can special summon zombies from the graveyard. So if it comes to a matchup where your opponent has a lot of spell traps and you just want to be removing them constantly, Skeletal Dragon Felgran, who comes in the structure deck as well, can only target monsters in the field or in the graveyard. So we don't really have spell trap removal besides this guy. This only comes up if you need to like destroy their spell traps a lot. Like if they're playing a lot of them, maybe they're playing Eldlik, maybe they're playing Labyrinth. We just want this as an option. We have Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon. This guy gets huge, like really, really big. Essentially, he just gains attack for every zombie in the graveyard. If you run Zombie World, he also gains attack for monsters in your opponent's graveyard too. And yeah, when a zombie dies, he just special summons a zombie. Cool card, very cool card. Shiranui Squire Saga. I think this is the most important Synchro 7. Surprising that it's only a normal, just because it's removal for a monster, a spell or trap, and it just banishes stuff in your graveyard and gets your effects going. So like, let's say you just want to banish for fun a Shiranui Squire. Well, essentially this guy just becomes a draw one, discard one. You have multiple options for effects based on whatever Shiranui monster you have in your graveyard. So that's why I like it. Besides that, we have Shiranui Shogun Saga. Yeah, it's prismatic, but this is a free to play card. It comes in a structure deck. It gets big. When it's Synchro 7, you can banish a zombie in your graveyard, discard gains attack for that. So it can be up to like 52, 54, like really easy, like easily in the 5,000s. But yeah, besides that, we're mainly going to be making this guy, Skeletal Dragon Felgran. When he's summoned, he just banishes a monster on the field or in the graveyard. Cool effect. He has an additional one where if a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, you can negate a monster effect. It's cool, it's interesting. I don't know if it really comes up too much. Mainly the banished one's the one that comes up a lot. And the final card in the extra deck is the Big Boss. Synchro 10, you just special summon a zombie during your opponent's turn and only during your opponent's turn. But if he's destroyed or if he's sent to the graveyard in any shape, way, or form, you can just special summon him back by banishing a zombie you control. Cool. That's the deck. Let's get into the replays and yeah, let's see how it performs. We're playing against Thunder Dragons. Now, Thunder Dragons aren't tier 1. They're not the best deck in the world. Let me take out the headphones because it's a little loud. But they are pretty good. One of their boss monsters, Thunder Dragon Colossus, is no slouch. I can't add cards from my deck to my hand. Normally that would like completely destroy decks. My deck mainly specials from the deck or from the graveyard, not really adding to the hand. So it does hurt me a little bit because Globe Bloom is not going to work, but I still have other plays. We're going to fire off Raigeki, destroy his other monsters. We can't destroy this, mainly because it just banishes something from the graveyard. We're going to do Uni-Zombie. So this is a very common combo in this deck. You want to get to Uni-Zombie just because Uni-Zombie is essentially a Foolish Burial, which what that means is you can send a zombie from your deck to the graveyard. The reason sending a zombie from your deck to the graveyard is good is because they have effects. Like this girl, when she's in the graveyard, she searches out Zombie World. We don't run her in the final build, but if you are doing a more expensive one, this is a good card. But besides that, all we did was just make a Synchro 8, we banished his monster, then we synced off into a 10. This 10 has the effect where during our opponent's turn, and only during our opponent's turn, we can special summon a zombie from our graveyard. Normally that wouldn't be really that good, but it's really good here because the monster we special summon has the effect where when it's summoned, we can banish a card on the field or in the graveyard. Very powerful effect. So we're going to just get rid of his boss monster. I think he's going to pop our thing too because I don't think his effect is a once per turn. But it shouldn't really matter because we're going to banish his boss monster and now he has to do like other plays. But I mean, his other plays aren't bad. It looks like he has like a dragon engine in there so he can go into link plays easy. Predator play Verite Anaconda, very good card. He's going to get another fusion. I think he ends off with the same, yes, that's right, Thunder Dragon Titan. So if he activates an effect in his hand, he can just pop a card. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, whatever I do, he's probably just going to destroy it. So I got to be really careful. So for our turn, we draw Vendread Charge, which is a good card. Also, the reason we're running the Shiranui package, as I'll banish real quick, is because there's this one tuner. It's a Shiranui tuner, comes in the structure deck. It's free, you don't need to craft it. Essentially it has the effect when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it along with another zombie monster and synchro summon from your graveyard. And we're going to synchro summon this guy. Even though it says Plaguespreader Zombie, it's weird. We can still summon it with this girl, even though this guy is not a Plaguespreader. I said girl guy, I don't know. I don't know what gender they are. But essentially this monster makes it so our cards can't be destroyed by card effects. It makes his boss useless. And now we can just do our normal plays. Vendread Charge, special summon a level 6 from the deck. Bloom's going to add us a card, just as additional protection. Essentially, Alghoul is if one of our monsters die by card effect or battle, we just special summon it. Monster doesn't die. Pretty cool. Banish his boss monster. And we're going to summon back our Red Eye Zombie Dragon Lord. We're going to make 2 of them. I think I was just trolling. I just wanted to make 2 for some reason. Tac. It's not game. He still has a turn to come back. He's going to activate the fusion spell in his graveyard, add a Thunder Dragon. The Thunder Dragon, I think when it's banished, it does something, and then he's going to special summon Chaos Creator. Now, Chaos Creator is very, very good, and the reason that I banished that instead of like waiting further is because it's just going to get him a bunch of like effects and like stuff. So we're going to get rid of it as soon as we can. He's going to use Dragon Lord, try to attack over a monster. Alghoul's is going to protect our monster because if it would be destroyed, we just banish Alghoul's and then he special summons himself and negates the whatever destruction. Spectral Sword is going to be activated in the graveyard to special summon the Synchro 6. The monsters that we banish with the Spectral Sword, the tuner in the graveyard, is kind of important because when Shiranuis are banished, you get effects. So for example, when Shiranui Squire is banished, you can draw a card, discard a card. That is a decent effect. It's not a bad effect, it's not the best effect, but it is decent. Besides that, we got Shiranui Solitaire, which is an important card in this deck too. When he is banished, you can special summon one of your banished Shiranui monsters. So yeah, it's pretty good to banish those cards, but if you really need to, you can also banish Scar Vendread, go into Synchro 8, or you can even banish one of your Synchro 8s and go into a 10. The deck has a lot of plays, but they're not the most powerful plays. I'm going to be quite honest, because the extent of this deck is essentially you get a banish during your opponent's turn, and your like zombies always come back. That sounds cool, but when you play against other opponents' decks, when they have like Omni Negates or they have like a bunch of things that they can do, this deck doesn't stand a chance. It's more casual. That's why I'm calling it a casual deck. So in this replay, we're going to open up with Squire, go into a Synchro 6. We go into Immortal Dragon. The reason we're going into Immortal Dragon instead of, I don't know, the other Synchro 6s that we have is because Immortal Dragon can just send a monster from our deck to the graveyard. It gets our plays going. It's like Uni-Zombie, and Uni-Zombie is very, very good. So essentially we're just going to go into Synchro 10. The reason we're doing this is so that we can have a disrupt during our opponent's turn, because we have Felgrand in our graveyard. So whenever we want to banish an opponent's monster, we can just do that. We're going to negate this monster effect because this is actually a very good card in Dark Magician. He's going to special summon his Timaeus, and before he can even activate the fusion effect, we're just going to banish it. He ended up scooping. Even if he didn't scoop, I think we had a set down Shiranui style, which can pop 2 cards. We were okay. We're not in the best position, but we did have disrupts, and that's the reason we won. Alright guys, are you liking the deck? Feel free to leave your comments. Feel free to leave also in the comments anything you would like to change so that anybody who like sees it can like get your recommendations. But besides that, this opening hand's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. We just said double Forbidden Chalice and hope that he doesn't have Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster because we instantly lose. He's going to activate Tuning. Ooh, we're playing against Synchros. Synchros aren't bad. He's going to go into a Synchro 5 Junk Speeder. This is the most important card in Synchros simply because it special summons 5 monsters. That's a lot of monsters for one card. We're going to negate its effect, and we're also going to negate Stardust Synchron just because we don't want him to like further extend his plays. And it's our turn. Let's see what we draw. Everything's depending on his one draw. Very good card. We actually run, I think, 2 or 3 copies of Shiranui Squire just because it's a very good card. I think we're mainly maxing out on the cards that send a monster from the deck to the graveyard. So Shiranui style goes into the Synchro 6. Let's see, the Shiranui Uni-Zombie can send a monster from the deck to the graveyard. We have effects like that. Sorry, I got a little tongue twisted. We're just going to attack and set a Forbidden Chalice. If he activates anything, we can just negate it. He's going to scoop. It's not the best replay, but it did show us that we were able to play through a bad hand, and we were able to stop our opponent's plays because of the cards that we run in the deck. Forbidden Chalice, for example. And this is going to be the final replay. I don't want to make the video too long. This one is last because it's like a troll replay. This is when I was running a bunch of the cards and I didn't know the full combos, and I still want to talk to you guys about it to tell you guys what I learned. So what you always want to do is open up Uni-Zombie. Our opponent sets 3 cards. I don't think we have anything to destroy it, so we're just hoping that he doesn't completely just wipe us out. What I should have did first, instead of just activating Vendread Charge first, was I should have normal summoned Uni-Zombie, activated the effect. If my opponent had anything as a response, like Infinite Imperm, Effect Veiler, anything that negates the effect on the field, we would then send it to the graveyard to still get our effect, and we'd also get a special. It's a misplay on my part, because he does have Infinite Imperm, so we could have dodged that, but I mean, like I said, I did mess up here. This is one of my first duels with the deck. I just wanted to show it off. we're going to be using Ghost Meets Girl. I think this is an incredibly amazing card. Essentially, it's like Vendread Charge, where you special summon a monster from the deck, but this time it's not a Vendread, it's a Shiranui. Shiranuis are good. Forbidden Droplets is going to send one of our spells to the graveyard so we can negate his cast spell, so he doesn't get an additional add. And it's our turn. Shiranui Swallow Slash. This card is amazing. He's going to negate our Uni again. Kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Normal Summoner level 4, going to a Synchro 7. I think there are other Synchro 7 options in the game. We could have went for Zombie Necro or Tengu. The reason I went for her is because she can banish cards from the graveyard, and I kind of want that right now. I want to be able to have like options. Excuse me. He's going to use Called by the Grave. He's going to banish our Alghoul. Normally, if he's banished Alghoul, we can special summon him, but this time, because Called by the Grave negates the effect, we're not able to do that. Top deck Gazuki, very good. It's a card that sends from the deck to the graveyard. You can run Gazuki in your build if you want. I found that the Shiranuis are essentially Gazuki, except they fill up the grave, and they also have, when they're banished, they do things, so a little bit more synergy than Gazuki, but it's up to you what you want to run. And he's just going to crash for game. Feel free to leave your thoughts and advice, or if you like the video, feel free to subscribe and like. My name is KushiKush. I'll be making some other structure deck videos. Sorry this took too long. I really wanted to work on it to make it the best free-to-play I could. I don't know if we're going to make an expensive version because this deck is very expensive at full power, but it might be something to look forward to in the future. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day or night, and I'll catch you later. See ya.